What is going on, guys? It is your boy TKD123 here, back in with another episode of the Save Slot Podcast. With me here, we have the ones that decided to come to episode 2. You know what I'm saying?
Oh shit!
The ones that have the guts and the gumption. Nah, okay. All jokes aside, Tajae did have some important things to take care of today. Unfortunately, he'll be back here on episode 3. No worries. If he's not, then we can actually start talking shit, right?
Yeah.
Episode 3. Listen, episode 3.
You get a couple episodes.
If he's not here, brass knuckles are on, the gloves are off. We're gonna be just talking all that shit. But for now, we'll just keep it nice and cordial. And with me, of course, is the host of the Game Speak podcast, of course, Brent and Jim. Wait, stop. Hold on.
How you gonna say it?
No.
How you gonna say it?
I want to do it. Hold on. Okay.
This decides whether or not I'm fighting with Tajae or if I'm fighting with you. No, just kidding.
Jamal.
Yes.
Fuck
yeah.
Okay,
Jamal.
All right.
Good job.
Jamal. Dang it! It's not Jamal. It's Jamal. Okay.
It's the same.
You were
same
close
thing.
enough.
Yeah.
Close enough, you know what I'm saying? I don't know why I have such. I just want to say Jamal. I think it's because
It's America. Yeah, like the A makes the S sound in Arabic. It's like Jamal,
And there's a lot of Jamals in America, too.
That's what I'm saying.
That, and what's very upsetting is that my literal best friend, like from middle school, like my literal brother, his name is Yezen. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
and he's Muslim. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
I should know that, but I'm just,
Jamal, what's your little brother's full
a dumb
name?
American,
My brother's name is Ahmed. Well, actually, all of us have 5 names.
Yeah.
So,
You're...
My full name is Jamal Zakaria Jamal Mufla Al Jafra.
Oh, there's 2
Fire.
Jamals in there?
Yeah,
Fire.
2 Jamals in there.
I knew the Zachariah Mufla Al Jafra.
Yeah, it's like muffler, but gangsta. So it's like muffla. That's all you got to remember.
I don't know why when
My
I start
name is
recording. When I start recording, I just start coughing. I don't know what's wrong with me. But go ahead. I'm sorry, Brent.
That's just how it goes.
The podcast
as soon
curse.
as you
Seriously,
hit play, it's just fucking off
Just
limits with the throat.
completely.
By the way, are we supposed to not be cussing on this? Like, I have no idea. Should we refrain in the future?
It's a great. So to go into the little back into the back of creating content on YouTube, what I know, right, is that I know there are some rules as to if you curse within the first 5 minutes, I think, or it's some amount of time. It's some amount of time that I definitely curse first here in this episode. But it's some amount of time that if you don't curse in that section of
Then
the
you
first
can
part of the
still
video,
promote it.
yeah, it's good as long as you start cursing or curse after that designated time. I think it's 2 minutes or 5 minutes. It's something like that. Once you're out, once you're over that, it's all good.
Let's set a limit. From now on,
we have
we'll
to
all set a timer right when the episode starts.
I agree.
Just halfway through the show, it's just beep, beep, beep. We're just
all right, motherfuckers, listen up. This is what we're gonna talk about. Yeah, I really forgot what it was, but I don't know. It's some amount of time, but
I'll Google it.
I'll
Google it first before next episode.
You know
and
what?
I'll put a time limit in the doc.
That
You're playing along at home.
episode 3, right? I want you know what? I want y'all to put in the comment section what should be our time limit. Do you have any suggestions? You know what I'm saying? Let us know.
How long before we can let loose?
Absolutely.
Just let our hair down, and
And
let it all
We
out.
all just pull out shades when the timer goes
it's rated R. Let's go. Anyway, this of course is the Safe Slot Podcast, the weekly podcast that pertains to big things that happen in the realm of PlayStation or things that can touch PlayStation. You know what I'm saying? In terms of third party and stuff like that. Again, it goes live every Wednesday here on youtube.com/PlayStation Source. Make sure to like and subscribe, and also, stick around for other future episodes of Safe Slot Podcast. And our first, before I begin to that, if you're a video listener, if you're a video viewer, and you want to listen to this in podcast format, great news for you. We're on all the major podcast services. That, of course, being Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts, Spotify, all that good stuff. All you got to do is go down below in our description where you can find our anchor link, and you can see which podcast service that you're fond of, or just search PlayStation Source podcast feed on your favorite service, and you'll be able to find us with no problem. At least I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
If you got a problem,
we're at the
just let me
beginning
know.
here.
Yeah, everything should be all fine. But I guess I'll let you two go ahead and talk about what you've been playing over the week. Or should we just get Taj's out the way? Should we get Taj's out the way, or should we just?
Yeah, let's go ahead.
You know
and get
what?
Taj's out of the way. Why
That's a
not?
great point. All right, I'm not gonna imitate the homie Taj. You know what I'm saying? And I did notice that on
You
the
just
doc.
like try to
Wait.
pretend that you are Taj.
I did notice that on the doc he changed his name to Lil Taj. So should we call him Lil Taj?
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm down for that. I like
Tajmanian Devil.
That I like calling him the homie Taj, you know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, he's been playing a little bit of Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. I do understand that this was a pretty anticipated game. A lot of people have been looking forward to this, I think. And I believe, as far as I'm aware, this is the first type of game in this IP of Dragon Ball, of it being like a more of a action RPG type of style, as far as I'm aware. I think you two have a lot more knowledge on this game because I literally have none. But I do know that Taj was definitely enjoying Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. There was some streams up on his channel. You can check that out as well. Link in the description to his channel. And I think he may have said his opinions on those streams. I'm not sure. I would like to assume. But I do know that privately he did tell me that he was enjoying Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. So if you have any thoughts about Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, feel free to, I'm going to let y'all have the floor.
Yeah, I mean, I watched Taj play a little bit. I watched him stream some of it on YouTube. It looks interesting. I personally grew up with Dragon Ball Z, and this is kind of cool because it's chronicling, it's kind of like an abridged version of the anime. It takes you all the way up through the Majin Buu saga, I'm pretty sure. So, I mean, you got like, I don't even know how many seasons of episodes put into this one game, and it looks pretty interesting to me. I think it looks great. I don't know how well it plays. It kind of looks like a button masher is my problem. I would want it to be more strategic. If I'm gonna play through the whole game or through the whole series, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
See, I'm just excited because I never experienced the Dragon Ball story at all. I'm a total newbie to Dragon Ball Z, and so I wasn't very excited when they announced this or anything, but after seeing some reviews and hearing people say it's so good and that it tells the story so well, I think it would be an exciting way to go through the story for the first time. I don't know that for a fact, but I'm more excited about it now after hearing all these positive things about it,
Interesting.
Sure.
I mean, I'm probably a little bit interested in it just because recently I got into My Hero Academia. I've been very, very hooked on that, to an unhealthy degree.
Do you watch anime normally, or is that
No.
out of character for you?
Very out of character. It's my first anime that I've ever been into. What happened? It was the end of my semester, and I was just in bed, just wanted to watch something, and I've heard about it, and I was like, screw it, and I binged the first season in one sitting, and it's been a lot, I'm over here looking up the original soundtrack and saving tracks on my phone. It's a lot. We're definitely
welcome to anime. That's the first thing you do whenever you get into an anime is go and look up the music. The music's always so dope, dude.
It is really good music. It is really good music. But so I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever try Kakarot. It is interesting to hear that it tells, I guess, the canon story, if you will, of Dragon Ball, as far as I'm aware. I think I don't really know what I'm talking about Dragon Ball.
It does. It tells the canon story, and it tells it in a way that is pretty I guess it's easy to consume, apparently.
Okay.
So from what I've heard, it gives it a better visual, just because it's in that 3D space, and it has some cool cutscenes, and then you get to play through it. Even in the battles where you lose in the anime, you still lose in this one, but you fight up until that point. You know what I'm saying? So it's pretty cool.
I see. I see. Brent, you've been playing a little virtual reality? Virtual reality?
Okay.
What
So
is
this game is like a gem. I found this the other day, and nobody's been talking about this game. It's the weirdest thing to me. It's called virtual reality, and it's like one of the greatest VR games I've ever played.
Oh, shit.
Basically, you're like in this room, and there's this robot, and he's like training you how to do this job, and like it's really really weird. There's like talking slices of butter that like want you to like put bread all over them and stuff, and then like you got to get a vacuum, and like you vacuum off the wall on accident, and you find that you're in this like big simulation and stuff, and like you start taking off these masks and like exposing this like weird truth, and like
Uh-oh.
it's like funny and game. I feel like everybody needs to play it. It's only like $15.
Huh.
It's so good.
Did I feel like was this at something recently? Or am I getting confused with something else? Maybe, you know what?
I'm not sure.
I feel like I'm getting confused with something else because the game that I'm thinking about is definitely not out. Okay, so you're playing this on like Oculus Quest or some sort of VR?
Well, I played it on the Oculus Quest, but it's out on PlayStation VR also, and I can see that it would work really well on PlayStation VR. Like all the like gameplay mechanics and stuff are just like built for like an experience where you don't have to like walk around too much, and I just feel like it's perfect for the like hardware. I don't know, it would look really good on PlayStation. Like everything about it is just like screams like this will play great on PlayStation. So if you have a PlayStation, I highly recommend picking it up.
Nice. Okay, there we go. A little $15 gem, and I see Jamal. There we go. There we go. Is
No, just kidding.
is playing one of the goats. You know what I'm saying? I see you've had a good week.
Well, you know, so I've been playing The Last of Us Remastered. Now, this might come as a shock to everybody that's listening to this because you're like, oh, this is a PlayStation podcast. I don't own a PlayStation 4. I'm an Xbox fanboy all the way. No offense, I know PlayStation's better. Like I didn't say I was smart.
Angry glare.
But yeah, like PlayStation has definitely been running the generation. You know what I'm saying? So knowing that I was gonna have to but knowing that I got the opportunity to be a part of this podcast, I was like, I better catch up. You know, so like I'm going through a whole generation of exclusives now. I'm borrowing my little sister's PS4.
I'm so excited for him over here. There's
I
so
know,
many great
dude,
exclusives
there's so
he
much.
gets to try for the first
Bro,
time. Like
There's so much, bro.
Yeah,
Oh
so
my
this is
God.
my first time playing The Last of Us, like as like through the campaign. I've only played the multiplayer at a friend's house, so it's pretty cool. It's so cinematic, so beautiful. Like it really feels like these characters are just real people. You know, it's very strange to watch these voice actors basically, you know, become these virtual characters. You know, it's insane. Like the mouths move at the perfect times. The facial animations are just like so realistic to me for some reason. And then but like the gameplay though, I'm not hating.
I feel you. No, go ahead. I feel you.
But I feel like it pulls me out. You know, a lot of times, like whenever it gets so serious about like if you get killed, it instantly restarts you like from whatever you were just trying to do. Like even if you killed like 4 clickers, you know, like all of a sudden they're back to life and you have to go through that again. And it's like that gets a little repetitive.
I see.
You know,
No, I see.
And it pulls me to where by the time I get to the next cutscene, you know, like I'm like already pulled out of the immersion, and then I get all back into it with the cutscene, and then I get pulled back out of it again, you know, with like whatever's going on. But it could just be because it's an older game at this point. You know what I'm saying? It came out on PS3.
I went back and played it pretty recently, and I kind of like the gameplay. Like, but then again, I could just have like a nostalgic like soft spot for it or something. You know, I have no idea.
Yeah, because this is new eye. You know, this is like it's somebody who's never played it before.
There's like weird things I like about it. Like I like how the aiming reticle isn't like a little dot. It's like a circle that gets bigger and smaller. You know, I feel like I don't know. It's a weird like
Don't get me wrong, it's fun to just blow a dude's head off with the hunting rifle, but it's like there's certain aspects to it where there's a lot of stealth in it, which I mean, obviously, if you were alive in like the post-apocalypse, you're gonna have to use some stealth, I imagine, if you're fighting all these dudes. But I think it's a little heavy-handed on the stealth stuff. Like I feel like it makes the game go so slow. Like,
oh my god.
See, I like the stealth.
I see.
I think that's one of the better parts of the game, in my opinion.
Dude,
I'm throwing bricks.
Dude, I low key want to have you on Road to Part 2 sometime, bro. I want to document like someone playing for the first time in 2020. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, like that's like a really cool thing, actually. Yeah, I've talked literally endless about Last. I mean, we have a whole dedicated show about Last of Us. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of us is great, phenomenal. But I do kind of see where you're coming from in terms of like how they crafted like this very serious world and a world where like deaths happen, and like it's not like we haven't seen it before. Like plenty of other games have a respawn ability, and like that's every other game, pretty much 90% of the games that come out, 99% of the games that come out, that even if they're in a time or in an environment of like a zombie apocalypse where death matters in those situations, but when you're playing the game and the respawn mechanic has to be a thing that the player has to go through, like respawning, I kind of see how like there could be a little bit of like it meddles the experience of when you're super immersed in the world, right? To have a game mechanic like pull you out of that. Like I totally see where you're coming from. I get it.
Yeah, I almost wanted to drop it down to just like the easiest mode just so I could get to the story parts. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
But I don't want to do that to myself because I feel like I'm going to regret it. Like that the having to go through the whole like thing where you keep respawning whenever you make a mistake or whatever is kind of, I guess, part of the journey. You know what I'm saying? That makes it worth it, but it does pull you out.
Frankly, I think you'd still have a good time if you played it on an easier difficulty. It's one of those games that I don't feel like is that much more rewarding. If it's like, if you're just having a hard time with it, you might as well knock it down. You know what I mean? Like
I played it on normal difficulty. I've always played it on normal. I haven't played it. And granted, like I'm not really a player that goes out and like plays like the hardest difficulty on any game I touch. You know what I'm saying? Like a little bit more of just like I'm here for the quote unquote normal mode of any game. If it is the experience that the developer crafted and what they want the average bulk
person
of the community
play.
to play. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But just speaking on this, I want to finish this game pretty soon and then jump into some more. Like I think the next game I play is either going to be Bloodborne or Spider-Man for the first time. So like literally none of these PlayStation exclusives I have played. So this is a whole new experience for me. It's like I'm reliving this generation through new eyes. So just look forward to that. You're gonna have these
That's
new fresh experiences of games that you guys have probably been playing for like ever.
That's hot.
I'm excited to hear the hot takes.
Takes.
Definitely those hot
that.
takes. I mean, if I were to recommend one of those two to start off with, I'm notoriously, I have notoriously said that, those Souls-like games, just not for me. My brain can't compute it. I don't know what it is as a gamer. I just can't do Souls games. The only exception would be Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. You know what I'm saying? Like that was the only one that I actually got a feel for and liked. And maybe one could argue before, because we still got the whole show to go on to. Just real quickly, some have said that because I love Star Wars so much that perhaps that's what got me through the learning of the mechanics. In that game as opposed to like Bloodborne, where I'm not really familiar or necessarily care for that degree to like seek out the Bloodborne lore and to get through the gameplay of that, because Bloodborne I just cannot play. So I would recommend Spider-Man. But a little game that I've been playing, I did just upload a full little playthrough and a little explanation of this game because I really want to give it some I wanted to turn on the light above it. You know what I'm saying? It's called Darwin Project. So it's been free on Xbox and I believe PC for about a year now, but it just came to PS4 on the official release. I guess it left early access when it launched on PS4. Because another weird thing about PlayStation is that they don't let early access games come on the service, come on the PSN, unless they have like big exceptions. Like I know Fortnite technically is still in early access, surprisingly not. You know what I'm saying? Like there's like little exceptions like that, but Darwin Project is a 10-player battle royale, right? And it is class based. You know, like you have the heavy mobility class, you have the up and close personal class that can have like a grappling hook to bring you in closer and stuff like that. And there's all those things, but what makes it unique, I feel like, is that there's an 11th player in every match that plays a director, right? And this director, rather than the game having a storm or a circle that closes in, the whole map is divided up. So it's one big octagon, but within it, I think there's like 6 or 8 different smaller octagons that make up the shape of the full octagon map, right? So those are called zones, like those little parts of the bigger map. So the 11th player, the director in the game, has the ability to control which zones are closing, right? And they can turn on like nukes in the zone. So if they see like a lot of fighting going on in like one zone, they can start to close it to get them on the move and stuff like that, and just add a little bit more drama to the game and everything. And they could even help out players if they see someone that is low on resources. They can give them resources. They can heat them up, which is a mechanic in the game that is a little bit more on like the survival genre type of style, where you do have to watch how cold you're getting and different stuff like that. So overall, I mean, I think it's a really fun game, and the best thing about it is that there's been a lot of people playing with their mics on, so it kind of reminds me of like those old times in like Modern Warfare 2, where it was toxic up there in a 360 party chat, Modern Warfare 2 lobbies and PS3 party chat, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it just kind of has that feeling as well. So I've been liking it a lot, and it's pretty straightforward to get your hands on and like really get a grip of the game and everything. So I implore you all to watch it.
Free to play, right?
Oh yeah, yep, free to play.
So
there is like a store section, and there is like you can see different things that you can buy in terms of like your cosmetics as well as it's not an axe. Why am I forgetting what it is?
A hatchet?
Your melee. I forgot what it is because it's definitely not a hatchet.
An axe, wasn't it?
Is it an axe? You know what? It is an axe. My bad. You're right. It is. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Because I remember this like really cool looking one that you can purchase, but at least right now, I don't know if it's just on PSN or maybe it's up for Xbox and PC. Y'all can let me know if you guys have played it, but they don't have any of the items to purchase yet. So right now it's just like. You
Base
can see what,
game.
like you can see what you can buy, but it's just purely the base game.
But you can't buy it. That's weird.
Yeah,
I know.
It says like it's not available yet.
I played this a long time ago when it was like really early access on Xbox, and like half the things you just described weren't even in the game yet. You know what I mean? But I remember it being a lot of fun. I remember the director thing being really exciting. I don't know.
It's cool.
I definitely think I'm gonna pick it up and try it out again now that you kind of talked me into it.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I haven't played the director role yet. I've just been doing my main class as one of the players in the game. But I might hop on and play director here soon because I just want to see what it's like, you know. But
yeah,
but
for sure.
Yeah, those have been what we've been playing. Let's get into the episode 2. What do we got here? A lot of things went down this week. All right.
Oh man.
I mean, this past week. So we're gonna get into 2 little, easy topics. Then we're gonna go into the main meat of the whole thing. So the first one here is that I'm sure you're all aware of David Jaffe. You know what I'm saying? He was the creator of Twisted Metal. He also created God of War. You know what I'm saying? Now, most recently he did a game called Drawn to Death, which I think was also some sort of. I know I played it. I forgot.
I remember
it
it.
didn't do very well.
It didn't do well. I forgot if it was like team based or like class based, but it was some sort of like shooter type thing. But
like a really weird animation like style.
yeah, it looked like
That's the
literally
one.
drawn. Yeah, which like pardon the pun for the title of the game.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. My
Yeah.
bad.
But he was replying to some fans on Twitter, right? About PS5, about the release, when's it going to happen, this reveal event, which I do have a video that I'm working on for the channel right now, going over all those rumors and stuff like that, and just how I feel about it. But he said here that, quote, PS5 reveal is less than 4 weeks away. Sony knows hardcore gamers are hanging on every scrap of info and know that just because Microsoft dominates the conversation at the moment, that's an easy thing to change when they're ready to reveal, assuming the reveal is good. So he then, went on this talk, to kind of like double down. And he said that I want to say it's the worst kept secret in games right now. February reveal like they did for PS4. So I have long said that I feel that, the way they're going to roll out the PS5 news is that they're going to start it off. Well, they've already started off with the Wired.com articles. They've done 2 of those so far. And the logo reveal at CES 2020, So, like, they've really been laying crumbs down. But, like, the main meat of PS5, I feel like, in terms of, like, features, are going to be at a similar event that they did for PS4. It was dubbed like PlayStation Meeting back in 2013, February 20th. Is when they went into detail about like the PS4 features and stuff like that. So I've always said that they're gonna do the same thing for PS5. So it looks like, if David Jaffe's saying it, and he seems very like spot on about it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't think somebody of his caliber would just be saying stuff willy nilly if he wasn't sure of it.
Yeah,
Totally.
that is my thing. Like I feel like it would have been so easier for him to say like I think if he really didn't know. But the fact that he's being so definitive about it, seems like it's like,
and I feel like Sony probably like told him to do that. I don't think he would just go out and risk his reputation by being like, oh, Sony's going to announce PS5 and they don't want him to. Because isn't Drawn to Death was kind of like a first party thing, right? Wasn't it?
No, actually.
Or it was exclusive to PlayStation, though.
I forgot if it was exclusive to PlayStation, but like David Jaffe doesn't really work in the industry right now. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not at anywhere, and he's definitely not at Sony. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like
really,
yeah. So I feel like the likeliness of Sony telling him directly is pretty light. I feel like maybe he would have heard it from one of his other industry friends, like maybe someone still at Santa Monica that he's close with, that like knows and that something like that. I feel like
so. Drawn to Death was a Sony Interactive Entertainment published game. Yeah, and it was only for PS4.
Wow.
Okay, word. Okay,
So-
bet. Yeah, word.
But that's the only reason I would suspect him of like being a behind the scenes kind of thing where they'd be like, yeah, you should talk about it. Like he probably asked, was like, is it cool if I talk about it? Because I just don't see him risking his name, whether or not he's working at the moment.
Right.
I don't think he'd risk his reputation, for like, especially with the studio that's, paid him a lot.
I see what you mean.
Hmm.
I see what you mean. Okay, I feel that. But
I think Sony's trying to get the hype train rolling by like
Oh,
planting
definitely.
thoughts in his head, kind of.
Absolutely.
maybe, yeah, perhaps. But are we all kind of in agreement that we feel like February is the day for is the month? I mean,
Yeah, for
Oh,
sure.
absolutely.
Definitely. I feel that.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, there's no way it's not. And if it's not, then he just shot himself in the foot for no reason. Like, why would he do that?
100%. And even though David Jaffe did make, or was one of the creators of God of War. Moving on to our next story, we do have something about the God of War sequel.
Ooh,
God of War sequel.
that's
2018,
one Jamal needs to
and
play
that's
over
one-
here.
Jamel, let me tell you something. I can't wait for you to play God of War, bro. God of War is fire.
Yeah.
God, it's such a good game.
I'm
Maybe my
excited.
favorite game ever. Honestly, I think it is my favorite game.
I have really thought about it too. It's either Last of Us or God of War, to be 100%. But nonetheless, right, we got some interesting updates involving the production of the game as I believe it was one of the developers in like narration, I believe, or like the narrative animator or something like that at Sony Santa Monica. She posted a little bit on Twitter. Again, links in the description of her being back in the mocap suit. So it looks like they're definitely ramping up production for the God of War sequel, presumably. Granted, it's not confirmed that Santa Monica is working on God of War sequel, but let's keep it real.
I think they would be fools not to be working on a sequel to
If
God of War. It was so good. I mean,
especially if you've played God of War 2018, like you know what was set up after that, especially with that. Not even take into account what is said on top of wait, let me stop. At the right before credits or during the credits, you know what's said there, right? And also when you go back to your home, that little thing, yeah. So there's that, again, those that know.
Spoiler
I don't want to
alert.
spoil it. Yeah, I don't want to spoil it. But those that know exactly that they're definitely doing a sequel to God of War. So
totally. And also, if you look at God of War as a series, just the history of God of War, I mean, we got sequels on sequels for the old ones. I feel like it's just that kind of game. Where,
And Cory Barlog actually has been on record saying that he had a lot more that he wanted to put into the game, but they didn't have the time. Like he said, he had a bunch more bosses that he had already planned out and did all this stuff. So he's got assets just ready to go.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying? He's got a bunch of stuff that he could just throw into a new game, and already be ahead of the curve. So. I think that's gonna happen.
I mean, my prediction on when this drops, I could see at the earliest 2021. I think 2022 sounds right. I think
definitely not a 2020.
No.
When did the game come out? Was it 2018 or
2018?
2018. I feel like
I could see being 2021.
I could see 2021
definitely, because that'd be 3 years.
Yeah, I could see
plenty of time.
I can see 2021. I can see at the earliest. 2022, just I don't know. To me, like that feels like right. Like
I see
April,
it getting
May.
announced for 2021 and then getting pushed back to 2022.
Having another delayed situation. That why not get into? Why not? All right.
Yeah.
So y'all coined a great term for this whole debacle. You know what I'm saying? And really, it feels like when the top of the week happened last week, right? It felt like this was us all coming back from break, right? Like this is all like, okay, cool. Like we all had fun, just relaxing over the break, you know what I'm saying? Christmas, stuff like that. But now we're here, right? And y'all called this predicament D-Day. Delay days.
Delay day.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a D-Day 2, and far worse than the casualty section. No, I'm just kidding.
For real. Was it 1, 2?
You're gonna get shut off of the internet.
1, 2, 3. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, looks like I have 4 games in total, right? So the first one we're gonna run down is Cyberpunk 2077.
Oof.
This one.
That's a big oof right there.
This one hurt. This one kind of hurt me. I was like, oof. That's sad. So they're pushing it back a whole 5 months. Originally, it was set to drop on April 16th. Now it'll be dropping on September 17th. I should really... No, I wish I told you it's a different way. Hold on. Forget I said anything. Okay, because I wanna like
what?
Do
it's
like a...
It's not delayed anymore?
No.
Just Men in Black erase everything.
What first happened was that last week, we talked about how the Avengers game got delayed. If y'all remember, right?
That's the one we talked about last week.
Yeah. So that happened.
Final Fantasy.
Yes, yeah. Also, I put Final Fantasy 7 down for this one.
Yeah, it happened last week. It happened at the same time as the Avengers game. We talked about it last week.
We did.
We did. We did this on our show too. Brent,
we did.
Yeah, like Brent thought that we didn't talk about it last week. Yeah, I could have swore we talked about it last week.
I mean, I have it down as a link, and it says that it posted on Thursday.
Really? Maybe it's just an updated article about it.
Mate, bro, I thought that was wow. Did we talk about that for real? Okay.
If we talked about Marvel, we talked about Final Fantasy because they both happened at the same time. They both got delayed the same day.
Shit, you're right. Why did I put a link on here? Whatever. No.
Hey, man. I did the same thing. I did the same exact thing.
Yeah, what the hell? I'm so confused. Anyway, y'all know, right? Marvel's Avengers got delayed, right? Yeah. Into September, right? So one of the big things that I don't know if I said it on the podcast, but I know I've said definitely probably to a lot of people offline, is that that's probably the best situation for Avengers because, man, you know, they can be out of the way of Cyberpunk. You know, they can have their own time to breathe. As far as we're aware, nothing really is coming out in September, you know, because, like, I feel like they were probably a little bit, you know, probably scared around them being a little bit close to part 2, and that being Last of Us Part 2, and then Last of Us Part 2, Last of Us Part 2 got delayed to May, so there was some space there, you know what I'm saying? But then it got announced that Cyberpunk was going to be around the time of near them releasing, you know what I'm saying? No, wait, was it May? Regardless, I just thought that the point that Avengers being delayed to September would give them a little bit more time to breathe, you know, and have the spotlight for a little bit, right? And then here comes Cyberpunk 2077 following them into September. I would love to see the reactions at Square Enix, bro, at Crystal Dynamics, like what.
They're just like, fuck it, we're doing the original plan anyway.
Yeah,
Bro,
they just undelay it.
Yeah,
I would have been heated.
we're going gold.
He's like, just kidding. We're actually gold,
The
guys.
game's out.
Hey guys, guess what?
You
It's
can
out right
get it
now.
Now.
It's right now. Right now. Yeah.
He just tweets it. He's
Oh
like, by the
my
way,
God.
it's at Walmart's now. You know, just
Yeah.
buy it. You know, you can play
Definitely,
it on your Tesla.
definitely, like, bro, I would have been upset. But Cyberpunk got delayed to September 17th. Avengers got delayed to sometime in September. I forgot the actual day. It's moved to, but I think it's like September 4th. I think September 3rd. It's like the first week in September, and then Cyberpunk is like in the mid-September range. But
I mean, I think it's good that it's coming before Cyberpunk because I think after Cyberpunk, nobody's ever gonna play that game again. You know, so like I think Marvel's Avengers will have like a good like you know, like launch base of people, you know, for like, and hopefully they'll get some people to stick around to keep them alive. But I feel like as soon as Cyberpunk drops, you know, like every other game will lose its inhabitants. Like you're gonna lose everybody who's playing Animal Crossing is suddenly gonna become a Cyberpunk.
Not
you know,
me.
like
I love
everybody
Animal
who's
Crossing.
playing Doom. Yeah.
I want to keep playing Animal Crossing.
He's like, don't you dare put that on Animal Crossing.
Not me, no. Bro, oh man. But another Marvel property that got delayed, interestingly, a little bit bringing it back to more PS4 centric stuff and PlayStation centric stuff, is Marvel's Iron Man VR.
No.
So this one, they were really concise with it. I almost want to just read theirs because the other ones, you know, they went on and on, but they essentially just boiled down to, you know, wanted better quality for the game on release, you know. But the devs behind Marvel's Iron Man VR Camouflage, they said, in order to deliver on our vision and meet the high expectations of our amazing community, we've made the difficult decision to move Marvel's Iron Man VR to a May 15, 2020 release. We truly appreciate your patience and understanding. You'll be hearing from us again. And that was literally it. They literally did it in a tweet. It wasn't like a massive blog post. It wasn't like anything, you know, like the other games. And granted, this scope of Iron Man VR is, I'd say, definitely smaller than a game like Cyberpunk or Last of Us Part 2 or Final Fantasy VII Remake or Marvel's Avengers, you know, to be fair. But
Sure.
But yeah, I just thought that was pretty interesting how like that also got pushed. It was supposed to be out February 28th and now it'll be out May 15th. So
less than a month. Less than a month. You know, we don't. At least it's not like Cyberpunk where we have to wait for the whole.
Oh no.
For
It's 3 months.
Oh, is it 3 months? I thought you said. Oh, I'm sorry.
February
Just
28th to May 15th. Yeah.
Oh no, I thought you said March. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
that's terrible.
Honestly, I don't think it matters when that game drops because it's not going to be affected by any of those other games. Like if you're playing a PSVR game, you're playing that PSVR game, like whether there's Cyberpunk or not. You know, like you're just.
Right.
I don't think it's affected by these other games at all.
Yeah. Also, like licensed games in the VR community are going to do well just because of the name tied to it. You know. I really think. Just having the Iron Man attached to it, you know, it could be a shit game and it's still going to sell okay, at least in terms of VR games, you know?
My only thing that, like, irks me sometimes about PlayStation is that, you know, nonetheless, right? Like we can't really say for sure that like it was PlayStation's hand, like PlayStation, like higher up, like corporate, that told Camouflage to delay it. I'm sure it was Camouflage. They needed a delay, for the game, right? But what, like, I don't like understand. Not that I don't understand. Like, I totally get it. I just hate when we have PlayStation games that come out so close to each other. Them now being Last of Us Part 2 and Iron Man VR, right? Not only because like it's not that they're gonna compete with each other, because like you said, like a VR game, VR people that have VR are gonna get VR. I mean, are gonna get
one way
an
or
Iron
another,
Man VR. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And like the people that have Iron Man VR that have PSVR are probably gonna also buy Part 2 if they're interested. They don't compete. It's not like when you have like Cyberpunk or Avengers competing in September, because that's a little bit more of a direct correlation. Like they're both gonna be massive games that are have RPG-esque elements in them that require a lot of your time. You know what I'm saying? So that's a little bit more of a competing thing.
To a larger audience.
Yeah,
they both appeal to the mainstream audience of players and hardcore players at the same time.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're playing VR, you're probably a hardcore VR gamer. I know people that have PSVR that haven't touched it in years, but then there's people like Brent who are into VR who will play anything that comes out to VR. It doesn't matter what it is. At some point, he will play it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, and there's a whole community of people like that.
It's true.
Yeah.
I still play flat games too, though. A lot of VR players just completely like I swear off like flat gaming altogether. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know.
See, they even have words like that.
Wait, flat gaming. Is that like
that's what they
is that traditional ways of playing?
Traditional 2D game or like 3D.
Yeah, that's just like a normal game.
Wow. Flat gaming.
Yeah, it gets nerdy over there.
Dude. You fucking flat gamer. Yeah. Wow. But my like main thing is that I just hope that PlayStation does a good job at promoting Iron Man VR, right? Because I could see them easily just being like, hey, let's promote the shit out of Part 2, or maybe they will have a nice little intuition and be like, well, Part 2 they could have literally just put out a tweet and like, hey, next week we're dropping Last of Us Part 2. No trailers, no footage. It just comes out and it's gonna sell insane.
See, I have a theory that Iron Man is a ploy from Sony, and if the game is good enough, they're gonna start bundling it with the headsets. I think it'll become like the bundles. Like they sell it with the thing. Like they already have lots of good bundles right now, and I think it's a means to an end for like a bundle that'll sell and move headsets. That's my theory, though. Anyway,
that's it's a good theory if I say so. Now, I guess we talked about it last week. Final Fantasy VII Remake did get delayed to April 10th. A very slight delay. It was originally March 3rd. Now will be April 10th. They said that their main reason was to quote ensure we deliver a game that is in line with our division. Let's try that again. Right. They said that the main reason is, quote, to ensure we deliver a game that is in line with our vision and the quality that our fans who have been waiting for deserve. So that's getting just a slight delay. Are
we still supposed to get a demo for that at some point?
Yeah, that was a full video last week as well that we made. Check that out on the channel. But what I think is that, actually, Christian, fan. Not even a fan, co-worker. I work with him a lot on different stuff as well. Shout out to Joy Clicks. He said that what if the demo takes the old release date spot and the demo drops on March 3rd? A month before release. I think
make sense.
And then your progress carries over. There were rumors that the demo was supposed to drop day and date on the release date. So maybe
that would make sense too.
Yeah. So I mean, either way, I feel
wasn't there some controversy around the demo that something happened where they found out that you could just like get into the whole game with it or something? Like, I don't know if I saw that about something else or if it was about this or about.
No, you're right. They had some kind of like hack. Somebody like found the demo's code or something and hacked into the code, and I don't know.
Yeah.
There was something they found out through that, but it's similar to how they did with Final Fantasy 15. I know that when they did a demo for 15, somebody broke past one of the invisible walls,
got to the
and,
whole game,
found like a monster and stuff that they weren't supposed to find. So.
Yeah,
interesting.
So I don't know if that has something to do with it. Maybe they're trying to keep leaks from happening and stuff like that. So they're trying to keep the demo close to the chest until they figure out how to not have that happen. I'm guessing. Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe, yeah.
It's a good theory.
And the last game we'll talk about in our D-Day watch, our shout out to all the games that got delayed. Dying
all
Light,
the fallen soldiers,
all the fallen IP. Dying Light 2 is the last one on our list, and so this one didn't even really have a date. It had a release window, and they say here, quote, that we were initially aiming for a spring 2020 release with Dying Light, but unfortunately, and by they, I'm sorry, I mean Techland. Excuse me. Let me not be rude. Techland is saying this. The devs behind Dying Light said here that we were initially aiming for a spring 2020 release with Dying Light 2, but unfortunately, we need more development time to fulfill our vision. We will have more details to share in the coming months, and we'll get back to you as soon as we have more information. So
we didn't even get a window. Like, they're just saying, like, who knows?
Oh,
they're like,
yeah.
We'll get back to you.
Right. Yeah.
So,
we did have a window. They were literally like, we gonna head out. We don't know when it's gonna be. We'll let y'all know later. Like, literally, that was it. So
basically, it could be canceled for all we know. No, not that it is, but I'm just saying, like, they said indefinitely.
Yeah, it's
so, like, I hate that term. That's a scary term.
I mean, like, what that told me in the context of this, in the context of gaming in 2020, I think Dying Light 2 is going to be like a early Q1 2021 PS5 Xbox Series X game. You know,
I could see that.
It
would probably be more marketable as a launch title for both consoles, anyways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like we already have 2020 for the current generation right now. We got plenty of games, you know. So maybe they're like, "Yo, why would we compete? I mean, try to compete or try to do something like this? And why would we have the effort of making the cross-gen versions? Why don't we just go on unfought territory, being the PS5 and Series X, you know?" And like,
not to mention give themselves more time to like polish and finish the game too in the process, you know.
Especially because the things that they were talking about doing with that game seems so next level that I think it would possibly, like, I think they overshot their ideas to the point to where it has to be next gen. I mean, like, they're talking about, like, you make a single decision and it'll cut out half of the game. Like, you won't ever see that part of the game because you chose to go this one direction, and the only way to get it back is to restart the game and do it the opposite way.
Right.
You know, like, it which is so weird to me. Like, there's whole portions of that game that are completely, like, you may not see them at all in your playthrough, like entire areas, because it gets flooded or something like that. And then, like, you could go back and play through it and just have a whole new idea of the game, a whole new lay of the land and stuff like that. So I think that's kind of like next level stuff. Maybe they have to push it back to the PS5 and Xbox One or Xbox Series X,
Right.
All I know is, regardless, I think this is the one I'm the most disappointed about out of all of them, and mainly because I really enjoyed the first Dying Light game.
Yeah, it was good.
I never played it, but I know it's highly regarded. I know, like, a lot of people.
It's very fun.
It kind of reminds me of, like, Far Cry mixed with, like, Assassin's Creed parkour mixed with, like, what was that? Like the
like Mirror's Edge.
Yeah, Mirror's Edge, but with zombies.
Yeah.
Oh, like, was it Far Cry Primal? Is that what you're talking about?
I was thinking it's more like the one where you're in the mall with
Dead Rising.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Dead Rising first-person shooter,
okay.
but like
Gotcha.
with parkour.
Gotcha.
That's a pretty good description.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a segue from Dead Rising. Oh, Dead Rising being on Microsoft, being a PC company. There's a lot in the news about Sony, and
segue, dude.
There we go, dude. You gotta make it happen.
Next level.
Sony and their IP allegedly being not moving, but coming to PC. Now, this got a lot of PlayStation fanboys. And yeah, I'm going to say PlayStation fanboys. I have a light back here that is PlayStation iconography. I understand that. I have a lot of PS4 games over here as well. I can understand that. You're watching this on a PlayStation Source channel. I can understand that. But I don't claim to be one of these PlayStation fanboys. You know what I'm saying? I feel like there's definitely a different cloth that I'm cut from. And that, just different things. But nonetheless, this came from Kotaku mainly, which and specifically Jason Schreier, which
Of course, the only person
y'all
that
know,
works at Kotaku.
seemingly right, and like if y'all know, if Schreier says it, he definitely doesn't talk if he doesn't know, right?
That's
Yeah.
the you best believe it. If he says
that's
it,
the
you
thing.
best believe it.
So he says that 3 people that are familiar with Sony's plans have came to him and have told him that they are prepping to launch Horizon Zero Dawn to PC at some point later this year, right? And so this got a lot of people, in a little bit of a twist, right?
Up in arms, bro.
Right, because I can understand the line of thinking that the PS4 in theory could not have, I mean, maybe, again, we don't know this reality, but there could have been a reality where if during the beginning of the PS4 era, Sony had been putting their PC ports of these PlayStation exclusives, if these PlayStation games weren't exclusive for this whole time, potentially the brand would not have been as big as it is today. You know what I'm saying? And like wouldn't have garnered as much attention as it has today. And that's a fair point. I don't know if I exactly share that opinion, but to even kind of like lump all these stories together and then we can all talk about them. There was also we had another developer on Twitter talk about the potentiality, of like Dreams being also on PC, which I actually like that idea. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Makes more sense.
Dreams
Honestly.
definitely makes sense. And then
Especially if it's VR compatible.
oh yeah, 100%. And then like the last game that got talked about in the PlayStation cross PC type thing conversation was The Last of Us Part 2, which there were some job listings that were calling for those that were wanting to apply to be proficient in AMD and NVIDIA hardware, as well as different GPU architectures that Sony doesn't really delve into and stuff like that. And there's also some things I believe about it was like definitely like it was definitely PC specific programming, that like called for, which granted every console is a PC on a
Especially
technicality.
now.
Yeah.
Especially this next generation.
Oh yeah. So that one's like a little bit loose, but definitely, with Horizon Zero Dawn being reported from Schreier that it is coming to PC, as well as the speculative notion of Dreams coming to PC. How do we feel about it?
Well, here's an interesting thought on that whole situation. You're familiar with the PlayStation Now service, right?
I am indeed.
Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong, but all of the PlayStation Now games are playable on PC, right? If you log into your PlayStation Now service on PC, you can play your games on a computer. Therefore, you can play like games like God of War and stuff already on PC through this service.
Precisely.
Maybe this is just a way for them to have like an accurate keyboard port and stuff for like Horizon Zero Dawn and stuff when they eventually put it on their PlayStation Now service. You know what I mean?
I can see that.
It's a good roundabout. I think that's a possibility, but I just think they're gonna just start saying we're no longer console exclusive. I mean, Xbox has been putting their stuff on PC forever, but I don't think it takes away from the PlayStation. Like the people that are gonna play PC games, once again, it's like VR. If you're playing VR, you're playing VR. And if you're playing on PC, you're playing on PC. You're not going to go over and turn on your PlayStation most of the time. Most PC gamers just play their PC games. We even had a debate about this. I posted it on Instagram. You've seen it. Like actually, the thing that you
use
did
for
a
the
trailer
promotion.
for this podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah, we had a bunch of people on Instagram be like, I never touch my consoles. Like I only play, stuff on my PC. So I think it's like, it's not going to hurt PlayStation to have their games be sold to more people that would have never bought it in the first place.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like if you have The Last of Us 2 only on PlayStation 5, you're only going to sell to those people that have a PlayStation 5. Or you could put it on PC as well and get another million players, that are people buying the game. Like I just don't understand why you would seclude yourself like that when Xbox is over there doing the same thing, making more.
And like to play devil's advocate, right? Like the like people that would hear you say that, oh, I mean, Xbox have been doing it for X how many years, whatever, and they would say, look where they're at now. They're third place this generation. You know what I'm saying?
But times are changing.
I would say number one, I'm definitely with you. Like times are changing, number one, and I feel like overall, like I think what people should really, really care about is number one, who is developing the IP, and number two, who's publishing the IP. Yeah. Right? Like Horizon Zero Dawn going to PC, I guarantee it will still be published by Sony Interactive Entertainment. Right? Like,
yeah, for sure.
You will still have that infamous black screen and the Sony Interactive Entertainment Presents. Like, you will still have that. Just like when I played Ori and the Blind Forest on my Switch, there was an Xbox Studios splash screen. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like that I feel like is like what is what is more important, because overall, like if it's a Sony published and developed by one of the first parties that Sony owns, they will get the majority of the profit per sale as opposed to a third party game. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like some people, like when they see like a PlayStation game is potentially being put on the PC, that they think it'll be treated like a third party, and they'll like lessen the brand of PlayStation, even though it's spreading the brand. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But
I feel you. I definitely feel you. I think a lot of people are also upset because it's like, okay, I've got this game that is beautiful. Horizon Zero Dawn is a great example just because it's such a gorgeous game.
Gorgeous. Gorgeous.
It's beautiful looking, but if suddenly PlayStation 4 becomes not the best place to play it, you know what I mean? Suddenly PC is going to have a higher frame rate. It's going to look better. I mean, there's no denying it. Yeah, does this discredit PlayStation's brand a little bit in that regard? You know what I mean? Because it's no longer the optimal place to play.
That's not true, though, because you look at that now with the PS4 Pro. Not everybody jumped up and bought a PS4 Pro, even though it's the best place to play the game.
You're right.
Not everybody's about the tech. Most people just want to play the games, especially the mainstream audience that's not hardcore. Like, I need the graphical fidelity to be top notch, like. Like I said, the people who play PC are going to play PC, and the people who play PS4 are going to play PS4, whether that's on a Pro or whatever, or PS5,
Yeah.
Because there will be tiers to it. There's not just going to be, here's PS5 and that's it. There's going to be like how Xbox Series X is doing like 3 different consoles. I guarantee you PlayStation will do the same thing.
I mean, I know for me, just, when I saw the report that Horizon Zero Dawn is, potentially coming to PC later this year, I'm not buying a PC. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like and like I feel like if I don't know, I just feel like the only hypothetical like change we would actually see if it actually happened is from like a very small subsect of like the hardcore community, right? Like I guarantee like the average person like will think nothing of this, and it will not really have a big effect. And
they won't know.
I think number one, also they won't know. And like one more thing, also like I feel like a good way to probably bolster this, right, is maybe they're playing a very, very long card here, right? I thought about this in the shower. I have great thoughts in the shower. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I'm like, damn.
To think.
Oh, the best place to think, right? What if Sony drops Horizon Zero Dawn on PC, right? Let's say they drop it in like, name a month, I don't know, like like September, August, October, right?
Mm-hmm.
In a similar vein where what was teased? Something was teased. Actually, no, it was PSX. No, I forgot. Well, whatever. Doesn't matter, right? They drop it, right? And then they start, advertising Horizon Zero Dawn 2, right? So maybe the average person that was on PC and wasn't gonna get a PS5, right, is suddenly now a little bit more intrigued on getting a PS5 because he just played the Horizon Zero Dawn, the first game, on their PC, and it's like, damn, I really can't get Horizon Zero Dawn 2 unless I get a PlayStation 5, because they're not gonna drop it simultaneously. Like
Day one.
I will put
Yeah.
money. I will put money that we will never live in the future where Sony will drop, a first party game on PS4 on PlayStation hardware, regardless, or, on PlayStation hardware and PC at the same time. Never.
No, not at the
Not
same
gonna happen.
time.
Not a chance. They will use that to sell the sequel, just like they've been doing with PS Now, with PS Now and PS Plus, where we had The Last of Us remastered in October. Around the same time they were releasing news about Last of Us Part 2. I think that's a strategic way to get those that have not played Last of Us to get a chance to play it and to buy the sequel. Like,
Yeah,
that's what I think
you're
they're playing. That's what I truly think they're actually doing here, is that they're trying to do a similar type of move, but on not just a game standpoint, but on a console standpoint as well. You know what I'm saying?
For
Definitely. I think if we go back just a little bit, like a year or two ago, we actually have a prime example of a game that has recently done just what we're talking about. Freaking Detroit Become Human was a PlayStation 4 exclusive and is now on PC and has affected very little, as far as I think it's still doing really well.
Yeah. That, and also what I was trying to think of earlier, the term for it, the barrier to entry. Nobody is wanting to go out and spend $1,000 on a PC that may or may not be exactly what they needed. Like people who don't build PCs on the reg aren't just going to go out and build a PC to play these PlayStation 4 game or PlayStation first party games, whenever they can just buy a PS5 for like $500 that guarantees it's going to play beautifully and run and all this stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just I just don't see your average everyday Joe gamer being like, oh man, that game, I'm about to drop $1,000, just to play this game that I could get for half the price,
Exactly.
It's
but
true.
I think that they are banking on those that, hey, I'm willing to drop $400 for a PS5 to play Horizon Zero Dawn 2. That I just play. Exactly. That's 100%. But I have no way to segue this. First party games, you play them on a PlayStation controller as of right now. Maybe a mouse and keyboard in the future, but for right now, you play them on a DualShock. And it's been reported here that the DualShock 5 will work with PS4, according to PlayStation France, right? So not like the biggest thing, but I did make a very, very long, not very long video, but a pretty in-depth video last week on the channel where I talked about that the DualShock 4 with the back button attachment being released later on, actually, I think this week. I don't know when I'm getting it, but I have it pre-ordered.
What's the back button attachment?
Oh.
Can you explain that a little bit?
I can. So quickly and concisely, right? There is a port under the DualShock 4 called the EXT port. I don't know what the EXT stands for, but it's a mystery port. Sony loves to put mystery ports on their hardware. There's one on the PSP. There's one on the Vita. Now there's one on the DualShock 4. Nobody really knows what it does. On the PSP...
So you can connect all four of them together, and
Probably,
then it turns
bro.
into a futuristic console that nobody's ever seen.
Holy fuck. What if we've had the PS5 this whole time? But anyway.
The whole time, they walk out on stage and they're like, "Everyone, grab your Vita." And they're like, "What's he talking about?"
Grab your
and
PSP.
just connects it all.
Grab your DualShock 4. They all line. Anyway, I think for the PSP, actually, they used that port in Japan. They released an attachment that added a camera to the top of your PSP, but it was only dropped It was only released in Japan. But
that's cool.
Nonetheless, they have these random ass ports. So the one on the DualShock 4, it will be used now to be able to connect this back button attachment coming out later this month. And so what it does is it adds here. Actually, let me grab my DualShock 4. So for you video users, you can get a nice little visual representation, but I'll try to describe it as best I can. So on the back of the DualShock 4, so it'll plug in like on the underside of the front and kind of like sit flush with the exterior of the controller. And they're supposed to add buttons right here on the back of where, like, when you hold the controller, where like your middle finger rests. That's kind of where they're gonna add buttons, right?
It's like
right
on the
there.
handles.
That's a way better. Wow, that's a way better way of saying that. Yeah, on the back handles of the DualShock 4 is where they're gonna add buttons right there. It's
like the Xbox Pro control or whatever they're
The
called, the
Elite
Elite
thing,
controller.
yeah, a little bit like that. But like the attachment is only gonna cost $30. And it's like a little like plastic like thing you slip on and you plug into the DualShock 4. And so I made that video, detailing that, and I made the point that like I think that the DualShock 4 with the back button attachment will be a DualShock 5. I think that when they reveal the PS5 controller that is DualShock 5, I believe that it will have those back buttons built into it. And so
Yeah, of course.
And so it's a way for those that have your PS4 controllers still. You can use them on PS5, no problem, as long as you have this attachment. But if you have the PS5 controller, it can go backwards completely just fine. I think they want to make that happen.
That would be smart. Yeah, because then instead of paying $60 for a brand new controller, you just pay $30 and then put that attachment on it, and you have another controller for your PS5.
Yeah.
Even if that's not the case, though, that attachment is still really cool because I know that on Xbox has a lot of like third-party controllers because I guess their controllers are easy to replicate, and a lot of the Xbox's third-party controllers have those little flippers on the back or whatever, like you're talking
paddles.
about.
Yeah.
But PlayStation doesn't have a lot of third-party controller support. Like there's maybe one or two, and they're both crap.
That's because they're all Bluetooth. Like,
well, it's because of the technology and the touchpad and the blue bar and stuff. You know what I mean? There's a lot of
it's like hard to replicate that. Yeah, I feel that. Yeah.
I didn't even think about that about the blue light bar. I'm so used to the Xbox controller. Like, surprisingly, I've been getting used to the analog sticks being like right beside each other. Like, I didn't expect to get used to it that quickly. But
I actually prefer it.
I personally prefer it. Granted, I've like never had like a long time. I've never owned the Xbox console, so like I've never had a long time to get used to the inverted. The closest thing is honestly the Pro controller on the Switch. I fucking love that controller. I think that controller's phenomenal. It's literally phenomenal.
I'm not saying that, like, and no offense to PlayStation lovers around the world. Like, PlayStation has the better games, but I think Xbox has the better controller. Like, I just like the way that the triggers feel on the controller way more than on the PlayStation. I feel like whenever you press like R2, it doesn't feel like you're pulling a trigger like it does on the Xbox.
Right.
It actually, that's the only thing that I hope is that with the DualShock 5 is that they make the triggers feel more like triggers and less like just flat buttons on the back of the controller. You know what I'm saying? Like, give it some curve or something.
I see.
I like my controllers curvy.
I really like the PlayStation controller in almost every aspect. I think my biggest problem with the PlayStation controller is the battery life. My battery dies very, very quickly.
Yeah, I hate that
but other than that, I think I like it better almost everywhere.
100%. But speaking of DualShock 5 and PS5, you might be playing the sequel to the Order 1886 on the DualShock 5 on the PS5.
There's like one guy freaking out like
holy shit. Granted, okay, so my journey with Order 1886, I tried to play it a few years back. Wasn't clicking with me. I dropped it. I know it's like a 7-hour game. I was just like, I don't know. It just didn't grab me. I don't know what happened.
Now, you and a lot of other people, I think it wasn't very well received. I mean, and it looked pretty, too. That's the weird thing about it. It had a lot going for it. It just was, like, kind of bland.
Yeah, I think that was the problem. They put too much focus on trying to make it look beautiful that they forgot that it was a game.
Yeah, and, like, I am making a valiant effort to actually play through it on stream soon. Stay tuned, boys. I will be playing it in its full,
Hell
I'll say
yeah.
front to back, I will actually do it. You know what I'm saying? But there's been some talks via a NeoGAF user that out of a bunch of information actually before the PS4 Pro was released, that ended up being pretty true. So this guy has a little bit of cred from that standpoint. You know what I'm saying? But he says that the sequel to The Order will be coming to the PS5. And so I guess he also said that like there was some sort of trailer that is already presumably made. There's a gameplay trailer allegedly, you know. And again, like this could be another piece in the whole rigmarole that is like the rumor mill of the PS5 reveal event in February. Like maybe we end up seeing this trailer as described, you know, in the PS5 reveal event, because they describe it here very, very briefly. They say that it shows a man with a shoulder-mounted device making his way through a dimly lit set of rooms, with the action picking up when a yellow-eyed monster gives chase. And he describes the character models, the lighting and physics being on another level. So, I mean, to me, I feel like, and also there's been a lot going into like the rumors of Order 886 sequel. I just realized I'm such a fucking nerd. I'm such a fucking nerd. But so I believe it was Sony. No, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, Sony gifted Ready at Dawn, the developers behind Order 886, a full life replica behind like a glass box of the Tesla gun. That was in the game. It's like this big hulking gun that like has like cool looking, intricate, like very like vintage looking design to it. They gave it to the studio as like a Christmas gift, you know. So a lot of people are like, like, you know, it's been a while since
Trying to connect the dots.
Yeah, like it's been a while since Order dropped. You give the studio behind the game a little bit of a Christmas gift that seems a bit big and definitely ties into the Order IP. You know what I'm saying? And they have
maybe it was like a severance package. You know?
Maybe. I don't know. I mean,
everybody gets a Tesla gun. Like,
dude,
couldn't we just get our salary, please?
Let me ask you this: in this trailer that we're describing, do we get a title? Is there like a shot of the title at all? Like, do we for sure have like The Order game?
No.
Or is it just the monster? Because if we're just seeing like old timey guns and
Bloodborne.
monsters, it could be Bloodborne. Like, that wouldn't make a lot of sense to do a Bloodborne game.
But who's this leak from though? Like, what's it supposed to be leaked from? Because is it from the studio?
Like what's the leaker source?
Yeah, what's the dev supposed to be? Why is he associating it with, you know, Order 1886? Like, where did he get that connection from?
Probably just the aesthetic or something of the game.
Is it just based on the aesthetics? Because if so, then this could definitely be Bloodborne. You know what I'm saying?
It's a fair point. It's a fair point, man. Honestly, I don't have those answers. Honestly, I'm trying to skim through real quick.
No, you're good. Yeah, but I think you're right, Brent. I think, like, if anything, it would make more sense to be Bloodborne. Like,
I'm gonna cross my fingers on this one. You know?
Yeah.
Even if this isn't Bloodborne, Bloodborne 2 is definitely coming.
Oh, for sure.
Like, there's no way they would just leave that. You know, but I find it really weird that they would even try to make an Order 1886 2. Like, it just did so horribly. Like, why would they?
That's like Rise, Son of Rome 2.
Yeah, like, why would
like,
you?
why?
It was meant to be like a tech demo, basically.
No, I mean, y'all are giving very, very fair points. I just feel like there's that. I feel like the Order has crossed a line. And maybe I could be completely wrong, because you know, I follow PlayStation so heavily that maybe I have a misconstrued, you know, view of the reception behind Order, right? But I feel like the Order has like a certain group of fans that is just big enough to warrant them being okay with, all right, let's take one more good crack at this IP, right? Let's blow it up. Let's give Ready at Dawn all the resources that it needs. Let's have it lead up on the first. I don't think it'll be like a launch day, but launch window release for the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's give it one more oomph and let's see where it goes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could definitely see that happening with Order 1886, right? You know?
I could see it happening. I don't think it's a good idea, though. Like, I just feel like PlayStation's kind of like, you know, I feel like they're kind of straight to the point, and they'll fire studios that they don't need. You know, like I don't see them just being like, you know what, you guys did so great on 1886 that, you know, we want you to come back and do it again and possibly cost us money again. You know, like, because just from the fidelity of that game, like the graphical fidelity, I imagine they put a lot of money into that game, you know, and do you think they made that money back? You know, like, I just don't know. And what have they worked on since then? What have they put out?
Nothing. Maybe some VR stuff. I think, if I remember, But
what's the studio?
Ready at Dawn.
Ready at Dawn. Yeah, I don't think they put out Ready at Dawn. Yeah,
Ready at Dawn.
Ready at Dawn. Yeah. I don't think they.
I'm gonna look up their recent games.
Definitely go ahead. Let us know. You know what I'm saying? Definitely let me know. But I'm gonna casually and like halfway step into the next topic. But definitely let us know when you find that information. But we have Ubisoft here that kind of gave some interesting quotes about their, I guess, aforementioned like plan of attack in terms of next gen, and they keep name dropping PS5. I'm not gonna say PS5 just because it's a PlayStation podcast and a PlayStation channel, but they said PS5, right? So I'll say PS5. So they said that they are going to do some few changes, and here's what they said specifically. So apparently, each studio is now going to be assigned a specific project, but the overall direction of the publisher's output is determined by the aforementioned editorial team. As one anonymous source illustrated, quote, "There were often the ideas of just one or two people getting put in every game. That's why you tend to see such similarity." So they're wanting to address this issue that like a lot of people saw, I think, with specifically Origins and Odyssey, those two AC games, and a lot of Ubisoft games as well, like being like Division 2, Ghost Recon Breakpoint, The Crew, and stuff like that, where they felt like there's definitely been like the conjecture of like Ubisoft has a specific type of game that they make. You know what I'm saying? They're like
samey. Yeah.
Yeah, like all their games kind of follow like a similar template. You know what I'm saying? Even with like the Watch Dogs here, which I love Watch Dogs. You know what I'm saying?
I do too.
I fucking love
even Far Cry.
Right Far Cry as well. Like, yeah.
You go into this big open world. You go and like you got to unlock certain areas of the map by doing like whether it's taking over like a little area.
I like the Far Cry formula.
Granted, but 100%. That's 100% right. They all have a similar template. And I am definitely of the side of Brent. I'm like, yo, listen, I know they all play the same, but like, I'm gonna keep it honest.
That's why we buy them.
Yeah, exactly. I know what I'm getting at.
I fucking love them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
I'm not hating. I'm just saying
I'm definitely
there
not
is
hating
some truth to what they're saying.
Oh yeah.
It is very samey.
So so I guess like the main point of this was that like they are definitely taking steps to not have that be the case in PS5. Not sure if it'll pay off. Maybe it'll pay off in good ways, and it's all just on the uppy up. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe they'll have some really really cool things that they do from an individual game to game basis that could pay off. You know what I'm saying? But I wasn't over here complaining. I was not complaining about Ubisoft having similar games. I fucking love all the Ubisoft games. Not all.
I think a majority of people love, Ubisoft games. Like I don't know who was really complaining about.
I know they had that management shakeup we were talking about earlier.
That's what he's talking about.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like that's where this is all coming from. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, they're shaking it up because of that, because of their lack of sales in the last couple games. But it was just Breakpoint, and
that's what
Division 2. It's like, why are you basing it off of your two like games
Weakest
as service
IPs,
games? Yeah. It's like, oh well, these two games that probably were never gonna do well didn't do well, so we're gonna take it out on all of our other games that are doing amazing.
I feel like if Assassin's Creed starts tanking or something, that's when you need to worry.
Which like it's very odd because like AC was tanking in like the realm of like Syndicate and like those games before, like right before Origins came out. Origins was like a massive upswing. Like a lot of people fucking love it. I love Origins. And Odyssey, I love Odyssey. You heard me and Tajae on episode 1 gush about those two games and like gush about like we both
enjoyed Odyssey a lot.
We both agreed that like we feel that out of the third party devs this generation, Ubisoft was the best third fucking party dev. 100%. You know what I'm saying? Did y'all hear my stomach growl? I'm hungry.
I didn't.
I'm fucking
I
hungry.
feel you.
I'm fucking hungry.
Yeah.
I just realized that I haven't eaten all day. Damn, what
That's
did
not
I
good.
do all day? No,
You been podcasting, dude?
I have been podcasting. I definitely had a banana, I think. I don't know. Regardless, I just hope that these changes that they make, while they do seem a bit of like an overstep in terms of like, hey, you know, Division 2 I feel like did fine. I personally liked Division 2 over Division 1. I feel like they made a lot of good changes to that game that made it overall better. But I do understand that, like, you know, Division 2 didn't blow up the world, right? And Ghost Recon Breakpoint was literally, I think, a flop as far as I'm concerned, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
So, like, I don't know. To base it off of, especially Ghost Recon Breakpoint, you know what I'm saying?
It's like, what?
It's like, like, did y'all forget how dope y'all did with like Odyssey and even Far Cry 5? You know,
I love Far Cry 5.
Oh yeah, Far Cry New Dawn didn't play, but I think it got pretty good reception overall. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Those things were fine. Like, maybe they're just bored over there. Maybe they're just blaming anything. They're like, you know, shake this up. You know, like,
could be, yeah, could be.
it's got to be something like that. But by the way, I found those games that came out
yes,
from
please.
Ready at Dawn. So after the Order 1886, they basically have nothing of merit, at least in my opinion. They did Deformers, which is a third-person smash 'em arena combat game featuring fast and frantic gameplay, but it's like cartoony little animals. And then they did Lone Echo.
Oh, they did Lone Echo.
Yeah, which is a
Lone
VR
Echo
game,
is
right?
excellent, dude.
Yeah,
It's like one of the better VR games ever, like out right now.
Well,
And I
Echo
think it's
Arena
Oculus Studio too. Yeah,
and
both
Echo Combat.
all the Echo games are Oculus exclusives. So
Interesting.
So why would that also, you know, brings out the question, why would they go back to Sony to make an exclusive for Sony when they're working on their VR stuff, you know?
You
Just
pose
makes
a
no
lot of-
sense.
I'm sorry. Hey, you pose a lot of fair fucking points there, man. I mean, I can't even. I have simply no rebuttal. Why did I say rebuttal? Whatever. I have no rebuttal.
No, that's right. That's good. That's it.
Yeah,
I like
yeah,
that. This is what podcasting is for. You know, like we just get down and dirty, you know, or like,
Definitely.
you got news for us? We got news for you, buddy. No, I'm just kidding.
Definitely
Like, just
took that, you know, one shot kill, you know what I'm saying, to the whole thing. Speaking of shot, we have a shooter we're talking about here.
Call the police.
A tactical sci-fi shooter called Disintegration, but not just any tactical sci-fi shooter named Disintegration. This one is being developed by some of the DNA of Bungie, the original creators of Halo. You know, I think that's like the massive pull about this game. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's the co-creator of the original Halo.
I definitely pulled that out of my memory, but I just need to make sure that it was definitely correct. Okay, cool. Yeah. The co-creator behind Halo. It's looking to be some sort of like vehicular aerial combat game that involves some strategic commands and stuff like that. It is a first person point of view. So think of like, do you remember that mech game like Hawken?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So like, think of like that perspective on this game.
Okay.
The big thing that came out yesterday was that there's actually a beta being planned for this game, and so I definitely signed up. Again, link in the description. Y'all should sign up as well if y'all want to. But it will apparently consist of two halves, and this is all happening next week on PS4. So it looks like there'll be a closed beta between the 28th and the 30th. Hold on. What the hell was that? Kevin, are you stroking? Anyway, so it will consist of two halves. The closed beta will be on January 28th to the 30th, and the other one will be an open beta. Okay, cool. So there will be open beta on the 31st through the 1st. So
All right, you'll have those 2 days to get your skill level so high that whenever these noobs come in on the 30th and the 31st, you can just lay to waste, dude.
Bro, it'll be 5v5. Looks like they're gonna throw in 2 maps and I believe a couple modes in there. So just wanted to let y'all know about it. You know, if you have any opinions about Disintegration,
I'm gonna have to jump in there with you.
Yeah, I whatever beta I get into, obviously I'll play the open beta, but if I get a closed beta, that would be cool. But yeah, so I'm definitely gonna check it out next week. Just wanted to give y'all that, little update, especially with it being behind the co-creators of Halo. And
for sure,
I just like to always pose that fact that I've never played Halo. But moving on.
We got to do it on a
statement.
live stream. We should all
Just
get
have me
together.
just play
Wasn't
Halo?
there a Halo where you 4-player co-op?
Yeah, for sure.
Which one was it?
All of them except for 5. Like
no, in the first one it was only 2-player co-op.
Oh, are you talking about local?
Yeah.
How are we gonna go? He's
not
in
local,
like
but
Arizona.
not local, but like you can't play 4-player co-op on the first one, can you? Online?
No, not the. I think you can on Master Chief Collection.
I thought
maybe.
it was like the 4th one up or something like that.
No. I'm saying now with Master Chief Collection. I'm not positive on this, but I think you can play 4-player co-op with like all of them. I'm not sure though.
We all need to link up online.
Well, I need to figure out what.
You got a PC?
No, I don't. I don't.
Oh, you don't have a PC?
Nah, dude. I'm a Mac editor, bro.
Can you get Game Pass on Mac, or is it only on PC?
I don't know.
Yeah, we need to look at that, because if you can get Game Pass on Mac, you have access to.
I'm sure you
Master
can get
Chief
Game
Collection.
Pass on anything.
I'm
It's
sure I
just
can
a
get
matter
Game
of
Pass
can
on
your
Mac.
computer
Yeah, I'm sure. I just haven't attempted.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I haven't attempted that. And honestly, so like my iMac is definitely an upper echelon of the iMacs. Like it's definitely a souped up, really good iMac. Not sure if it could run Halo. At least like
okay.
I'm sure Halo 1, Halo 2, I'm presuming, like
they're all remastered, but they're not like next level. Like you just can't, I can't imagine your computer not be, it's probably only for PC. I don't know why I'm thinking it'll be on Mac. It's Microsoft. So they're probably just like, nah.
Wait, that's a really, that's a valid point.
Good point.
Yeah, that's a good point. But,
sorry.
perhaps,
we just got our own hopes up for nothing.
I feel you. You got my hopes up and left me in doom. Speaking of doom,
these segues, dude.
Let's go. Yeah. An hour and a half into the show, I'm on it.
I feel the fire, dude.
I'm on it like Joe Rogan. Doom Eternal. We got a lot of people able to voice their opinions on their previews. Unfortunately, we're not one of those outlets. Hate to see
Definitely,
it.
unfortunately.
Someday maybe. But
I've been playing it for years. No,
Doom Eternal getting a lot of very, very high praise. A lot of people are definitely enjoying it. They're saying it's overall fun. There was a nice little. I wish I could pull. You know what? If you give me some time. Actually, no, I don't know if I have time. You know what? Let's just read some of the cutouts that our friends at Push Square left us in terms of previews. And so we have. I'll read IGN first. Maybe we'll read Polygons, but I'll read IGN. They say at any rate, it's clear that Doom Eternal is a game designed to consistently keep you on the edge of your seat, much more so than last time around. And it does so through its thrilling and rewarding combat, its skill testing traversal, and its ability to surprise, such as a moment late in my hands-on where I was able to establish a neural connection with a Revenant drone and use it to zip around the air above a field of enemies and annihilate them with a barrage of rockets.
Oh, that's fun.
That sounds so fun. I saw I think it was on GameSpot. They said that they throw more at you in the first 2 hours of this game than the entire 2016 Doom.
Thank you. That's what
it comes to
action. That's what I was gonna source. Thank you. Yeah, that whole thing. Yeah,
there's like guitars made out of just like meat and bones and shit. Like they're trying to go the whole metal, the over the top, like so like it's just really brutal and ridiculous and like it seems exciting. Like I love Doom 2016, dude. I thought it was so good.
I talked about it on the first episode of Saves Lab, but I recently just played and beat Doom 2016. That was phenomenal. I thought it was really fun. Yeah, really fun.
Yeah, so Doom 2016 was great. Doom VR was really good. I'm just like any of the newer Doom stuff. I'm all about it.
Yeah, I even went into like the create like the multiplayer like level creator and stuff like that. That was cool. Like I don't usually mess around with that stuff, but I had fun like making little levels and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. So definitely have a Doom Eternal that's coming out That's one of the games that actually didn't get delayed and actually survived delay day.
Hey,
as far as we know.
got one.
You know what? That's a fair point. As far as we know, I don't know. It could fucking get delayed tomorrow.
Give it a couple days first.
As of right now, Doom Eternal stands as our king. It will not fall to D-Day. But what will fall on the PS5 is Godfall. Let's go! Godfall on the PS5. It got officially unveiled. The first, I think it's pretty cool that they like have this little like neat thing of history. Is that like Godfall is the first PlayStation 5 game to be revealed. You know, I think that's a pretty cool thing to, you know, like have a little notch on your you know, like have like a notch on your belt. That like, hey, like you're like the actual first PlayStation 5 game to ever be announced. So
Totally.
The developer as a Counterplay, published by Gearbox. You know what I'm saying? Not developed by Gearbox, but published by Counterplay. What really kind of tickled my fancy with this game is that they described it as like a hack and slash looter shooter, which I love both those things. So I'm like, okay, sounds great. You know.
That does sound fun.
Yeah. We got a little bit of footage at Game Awards, not a ton, but what really made the rounds this week was that there was apparently a full trailer that was leaked. You know,
and they did show some gameplay footage.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. Showed a lot more than the initial reveal at the Game Awards, but they had to take to Twitter, and by them I mean the developer of the game, to address this leak, right? And they say here that we can't confirm that the circulating trailer is a year-old PC footage. Is year-old PC footage used as part of an internal presentation. We are energized by your excitement and look forward to showing you how far this game has come. Stay tuned for a more detailed look soon. So, you know, with them being soon, the Push Square article did, you know, notes that maybe this is also another piece in the PS5 reveal event puzzle, that maybe this could be, you know, shown sooner than we all think, and it'll be shown next month, you know. But it seems like this trailer was a part of an internal presentation at the studio for this game and not meant to be ever, you know, commercialized or put out to the public. So, yeah. So that was that. The gameplay looks pretty cool. It looks interesting, you know. So I guess we'll have to see when the full Godfall game comes out. So what do you guys think of Godfall? You know, like if you guys have seen that gameplay, how do you feel about it? Do you remember it from Game Awards? What are your thoughts about Godfall, you know, overall?
I actually watched this leaked footage and it looked really good. I mean, it looks like it has a very like Dark Souls-esque type feel to the combat, but at the same time you could see where it's going to be different and you know, a kind of almost like a Borderlands-y way with the whole loot, you know, shooter situation. It's like it looked really pretty. Still, like the one thing about these next gen games is that they don't look next gen to me, just because I've already seen PC games, you know. So it's like like it's not about the graphics anymore, you know. I'm ready to see like the differences in like the loading times and things like that.
Right. I follow you. Yeah, I just think it looks cool because I like hack and slash combat styles, and I'm a big Borderlands fan, so I love looter shooters and stuff like that. So I guess we'll see how that all pans out. But that has been episode 2 of Save Slot Podcast. I'm gonna let the two homies over here on this side, Brent and Jamal, give you guys the outro, so you two have the floor to plug whatever you want. Your links are in the description, so it's all good. But y'all can say your piece.
For sure. Yeah, go check us out at we're GameSpeak Podcast on all podcast platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We also post a YouTube video version of our podcast, just like we do here with Save Slot, and you can find all of our stuff on our website, which is createforsanity.com. You know, that's about it. Yeah, just go check out our shit. Yeah,
check out their shit, because we can curse now that we're over the 5 minute 3 minute threshold. Hell yeah, we're way over that. Whatever that, boys. But of course, if you enjoyed the show, make sure to leave a like on the podcast, as well as rate us on all your different podcast services that you guys listen to us on. As well as if you're not listening to us on a podcast service and you'd like to, Anchor link down below in the description. You can find our link to our Apple Podcast feed, Spotify, Google Play podcast, as well as all the major podcast services down below in the description. You can also find our Twitter and our Discord. Follow us on there, as well as, of course, keep it locked to your on the channel for all things PlayStation. And we're pumping out content on a regular basis. Definitely a lot more than we used to, of course, with school. Me not being in school, all that good stuff. So thank you all for watching the podcast. Hope you all enjoy. Also, check out the homie Tajae. He couldn't make it to episode 2, but he'll be back episode 3. And if not, we can talk hella shit about him in episode 3. So definitely get into that. So thank you all for watching. And as always,
Greatness awaits.
Beautiful. Look at that. Look at that. Beautiful.